Okay, so I just previously talked about the DC voltage source and what that is and how it gets connected into our circuit and what it means in the context of our circuit. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is another type of source, the other type of source that we'll see in this class, which is the DC current source. Okay, so again, like the name suggests, it's just a source of DC current or constant current. Some of the symbols I've seen and that you will see, I'll basically mainly use this one, which is an arrow in the middle of a circle, which tells us kind of the orientation of which way the current flows, which I think is really intuitive. So in this symbol, we basically would know that the current's flowing from the bottom point to the top point through this branch, just based on the circle. I've seen some other ones that are kind of interesting. I've seen like this kind of two circle looking symbol, which I think is rather difficult to interpret. Sometimes they'll put a plus and a minus there. But the main one that we're going to see and that we're going to stick with is going to be this one. And so, again, I'll do a little brief explanation of what a current source does and what it means for our circuit. So let's say I've got some wire here, and again, I'll call it A. And then I've got some wire here, and I'll call that one B. And then I want to take a current source and just stick it into my circuit right here. Okay. And so what this does is it basically guarantees that I will have the current, whatever current this current source is rated for. So let's just say that this was a 1 amp current source. That current source now being connected in between these two branches guarantees that I will have 1 amp of current flowing out of the source and 1 amp of current flowing into the source. So it basically just guarantees exactly how much current I'm going to have flowing in this branch of my circuit. So in another example, I could draw it maybe like this, just where the current, let's say this is point C, and I draw my current source like this, and then this is point D. Then this is a, let's say this is a 200 milliamp source, okay? Well, that guarantees that I have 200 milliamps flowing in and 200 milliamps flowing out. So a little bit different from voltage. The way that current flows through a circuit and the way that voltage supplies a circuit are a little bit different. Either way, they're both sources of energy. If you just had a network of resistors with no power source, nothing would happen in your circuit. You would have zero voltage, zero current everywhere. These are just two different types of sources. We're going to use both of them an awful lot, and just again, providing a little bit of an introduction before we start building circuits, just to give you a little bit of familiarity with what I'm throwing into the circuits once we start building them. So just rest assured that this is all sort of precursor to the important stuff, which is where I actually build the first circuit, probably a video or two from now. This has just been a brief introduction to the current source, and again, all it is a source of constant current.